死ぬのは怖くないか。
The Sega Dreamcast is probably one of those consoles that are held in high regards by retro gamers. Not just because of the quality of the software, but because the games on it also felt like they marked the end of an era. There were several genres that just kind of died for a while, including brawlers such as this one, Zombie Revenge. A game I remember spending a lot of time playing back in the late 90s in the arcade. And while I thought it was pretty cool back then, I've really come to appreciate how they tried to reinvigorate the genre by having the heavy reliance of handguns. And these are of course also attributed to the fact that this is the House of the Dead spin-off game. You know, it's that famous light gun series of games. And just like the House of the Dead, there is the problem of a big zombie outbreak in some sort of unknown city where a crack team of AMS agents are on the case. It's a 3-button game, slightly more technical than what we're used to, and while it's still a lot about spacing like Final Fight or Double Dragon, you can't really knock back enemies just by doing a flying kick into them. You really want to move around, get some range, use your handgun, and you got a run button for that purpose that also doubles as a block button, which will allow you to block a surprising amount of enemy attack, even some of their projectile attacks. For that purpose you also have 3 different characters that play a little bit different, each with slightly different combo attacks and hold attacks. First of all, you got Stick Brightling, which is just a fantastic name. It really sounds like something someone came up with who never really heard of an English name, but just found some random American words that sounded kind of cool. This is sort of your average guy. He's equally good with gun and his fists. Then you have Linda Rota, rather fitting for a zombie game. The female character who is a little bit faster than the 2 others and better with her handgun. And then finally from Japan you have Rikiya Busujima, this cool looking dude who is really good with his fists. The primary mode of the game being arcade mode, rather straightforward game, not at all with alternating paths like Dynamite Cop, another great Dreamcast beat 'em up game, but just, you know, a single path through the game, and a difficulty level and a number of lives which can be adjusted in the options menu. Nothing special here. But then for the Dreamcast here you have something called the original mode. This is split into 3 sub-modes, one called normal mode that plays like arcade, balanced in the same way. Then you have gun mode, where the power of your firearm is vastly increased over your melee attacks. And then you have bare knuckle mode, I see what you did there, Sega, which as the name implies, decreases the power of your gun and increases the power of your fists. And because of the way the game plays, I definitely found gun mode to be the easiest. I didn't quite make it to the end, but I got way further than I got in the other modes. And that's especially because of some of these bosses. You can't really get in close to them, or they'll grab you or knock big chunks off your health very easily. But what else is different in the original mode? Well, once you're game over, you will get a screen with all sorts of food items that you have collected during your playthrough. And this plays into something called training mode. This is where you take one of the 3 characters and generate them into sort of your own characters on the VMU. The Sega Dreamcast VMU. What a fantastic idea for a peripheral, by turning the memory card into this sort of mini gaming device. Lots of Dreamcast games used it, but here in Zombie Revenge you use the food and money items you got from the original mode to feed to your characters, sort of like a Tamagotchi, and level them up. There are also 2 minigames, one called Zombie Fishing, something I found to be extremely difficult, but you basically just throw your line out and follow the commands on the screen to try and catch zombies. And the other minigame being Zombie Memory. This is a memory game where your chosen character will display a number of symbols, and then you have to pick the symbol that they didn't display, which I guess is sort of a fun twist on Simon Says. But what's the benefit of feeding your character and leveling them up here on the VMU? Well, it's rather underutilized. The only benefit of leveling them up is that you get a character with different stats that you can use in the game's fighting mode, where they took these 3 characters and stuffed them into kind of like a very basic fighting game that doesn't really have much depth or is much fun to play for prolonged periods of time. But for some reason Sega really banked on this fighting mode being a thing, because apart from putting a character on the VMU and leveling them up there, they also talk about in the manual about how you could create an account on a Sega homepage, upload the character there and download other people's characters. But I don't see any incentive for doing so. There's no graphical changes. I mean, there are different costumes that the characters can wear, but these aren't unlockable or have anything to do with the level. It's simply just holding down start and pressing one of the action buttons when choosing the character in any of the modes. So yeah, a bit of a wasted potential maybe just a bad idea. At least if you get enough points in the 2 minigames on the VMU, you will be able to unlock cheat mode for original mode in the game, where you can get stuff such as unlimited health and unlimited time and so on. I'd actually rather they had put the time and the effort into making the game have multiple paths or something that made playthroughs a little bit different, but no such luck. Compared to Dynamite Cop, I think it puts it on a level where it's only sort of just an average game. It's not something you really want to spend your whole evening playing, but it's fun to pop on and play a couple of games. Maybe it's just me who it's a little bit demanding, seeing as the rest of the House of the Dead are very much linear experiences in the same way as Zombie Revenge. So at least gotta give it credit where credit is due. Zombie Revenge is an excellent sort of Gaiden style game, completely different genre, but manages to take key elements that really stays true to the source material, including some absolutely fantastic voice acting.
He said all those creatures were made by humans.
That's right. Government Top Secret Plan, UDS. Using the dead for weapons? A stupid plan. My parents were part of this. But a scientist killed them and used them for his experiments. His name? Gil Brightling. Your father. I swore I'd get my revenge. I will exterminate all humans with their own weapons. And I will kill you. See you in hell.
But yeah, that's it for now. Thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, and an extra big thank you to my Patreons who are supporting me with as little as $1 a month, which you can as well if you follow the link below the video.